Wow, we are already on to season 2 of The Hills. This is amazing. I feel like we've blasted through season 1. We are the Double Loser podcast, and we are rewatching old reality TV shows currently on The Hills, which we have never watched. Morg, myself, and Joe are your hosts today, and every time you listen to our podcast. But we are super excited to be on season 2 of The Hills.
Morg, so good. So after watching episodes 1 and 2, which we are discussing today, I couldn't stop. I mean, we met Spencer, which we've been talking about all of season 1, like when Spencer going to show up on the scene, and he is here.
Yes, and I am a little mad at you because you let it slip that you already moved to the episode 3. And so Joe's watching ahead of me.
Okay. I stopped myself. I got about halfway through episode 3 before I could exercise a little bit of self-control. So I apologize. I will be better in the future.
Oh my gosh. Well, yes, as you mentioned, like we have been waiting all of season 1 for Spencer to show up. We know he's an instigator and he has brought the fire that we were wanting so bad. Jordan didn't cut it. Like Heidi's ex-boyfriend was not bringing this level. Like I know we have a huge segment on it. I'm super excited because he just brought everything I needed.
Right? If Jordan said he was passionate, then like I don't even have a word for Spencer.
Yeah, no, the man never stops smiling, even when he's angry, like so angry and smiling,
and which is almost scarier.
Yes, it's like that is haunting.
Those eyes and that smile.
Well, I'm going to walk us through these first 2 episodes so our listeners know a little background on what we're talking about, and then we're just going to dive right in. So, episode 1, Joe, we almost leave a transitional scene from the end of season 1 right back into season 2. We have Lauren driving in her car again, like
that convertible.
That convertible. And if y'all remember from last week, we were talking about the finale, and she was driving to that Malibu house to meet up with Jason. Well, deja vu, she's driving after their breakup to give him all his crap back. And who could have called that? Every single person that ever met them, saw them, was on the show, her boss, like
even didn't see the show, probably.
Like the list goes on and on. We see this. We go into life without Jason, which is, it must be like a weight off her shoulders. And we also see Heidi. Now she has a new boyfriend, which we've already alluded to. Spencer is here. Then we get Devil Wears Prada vibes from her boss, finally, which me and Joe have been dying for forever. Like Lauren needed this. And we get to see Lauren go through in episode 2 a swimwear fashion show. So that was super exciting. We get to see her get a little attaboy at her job. Like she maybe is doing better. And we are proud of her. We also see Heidi and Spencer's relationship developing horribly. Love to see it. He's dating Audrina at the same time. It's chaos, and the drama, he brings it. And it just was the spice we were missing from season 1.
Morg, I think you hit on all the big items. And as we say almost every episode, not a lot happens. So when you do the synopsis, you kind of feel like you're missing something, but I think you hit it all.
Oh my gosh. But I do have a lot to talk about. So it amazes me every week that so little happens, and yet I have so many opinions about it.
So true. How do we manage to make an hour-long episode out of 20-minute shows?
Like my notes are just like me like fuming like, what?
Oh, my pencil was on fire.
Well, should we start with, I forgot to mention this in my synopsis overview, but Heidi's got a promotion at her job.
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot about that. Our girl's moving up.
Brent is changing his outfit again. He's in a leather jacket. We've seen the transition of his fashion through the last, few of our episodes, and we're not done noting it. I'm not.
We really can't pin down his style. He is just surprising us on the rig.
And I guess that's why he's an LA man. Like we'll never catch up.
Such a trendsetter.
His style is a catch me if you can kind of moment.
That's our boy.
But he, surprisingly, after all of his annoyances, has promoted Heidi, and she is working the front door of LA's hottest club, according to Lauren Conrad in her opening.
Yeah, well, so Morg, I had the same feeling where I was like, oh my gosh, like Heidi must be doing really good at her job. Brent must actually really like her despite kind of sending the message that he didn't. But then Morg, cut to the boardroom scene where Brent is telling the whole staff that, hey guys, we got a really crazy night coming up. And he specifically calls Heidi by name and he's like, Heidi, don't bug me. And it was then I was confused again because I was like, why did he promote her? It seems like, again, he doesn't really care for her.
Yes, like if anyone did that to me at my job, I'd be so embarrassed. Like, oh my God, I'm so annoying. Like this man, my boss just called me out in front of everyone to say not to bug him.
Yeah. Yeah, but Morg, Heidi's superpower is like not caring at all or not really realizing, thinking back to her interview for college, like anyone else would have been embarrassed to act the way she did, but not Heidi.
Have you looked at the curriculum? No.
So Brett calls her annoying and she's just like, Brett.
Yeah, she just is smiling. So yeah, you're right. I would be like, I need to have a conversation outside of this full room of people about how we've never discussed how annoying I am prior to this moment.
Oh, see, well, I feel like I would be like, I'm sorry, are you really going to do that to me in front of a group of people? Like, I feel like I would be a little feisty. Like, you can't be doing that.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I mean. I guess I was saying like I would go up to them after and be like, excuse me, what was that?
Okay, thought you were more like wanting to sit down with Brent and be like, wait, am I annoying? Like, I had no idea.
I am an idiot as well. I just am a quieter idiot. On the flip side, Lauren starts off with like not really pleasing Lisa. Lisa's still her boss, but Blaine is nowhere to be seen, so we think we've lost him.
Oh, devastating. I was not ready to say goodbye.
So one of our favorite bosses is gone. But thank God he left us with a beautiful quote from last season. Like,
which one?
We need, given a challenge, you rise. Darling.
Oh yeah, the one on my mirror.
Oh yes, exactly. The one we had printed, God, for our inspirational posters in our offices. Yes, so we miss Blaine, but Lisa's still there, and she comes in hot and has some Devil Wears Prada vibes that we were looking for all season 1. And Whitney and Lauren come into the office, I guess their first day back from their summer internship, or Whitney's summer internship, Lauren's summer in Malibu that ended in a fiery dumpster mess. And they go into Lisa's office and Lisa is just like, Whitney, how was your summer? And it was definitely like some passive aggression.
Yeah.
Were you reading the same thing I was reading, Joe?
Oh, right. Because the way she even phrased it was like, did you have the most amazing time in Paris? It was like that.
Yes. And, Whitney's trying to be nice Whitney. She's like, oh my God, yeah, I got to like go to Coco Chanel's house and it was amazing. And then it's like a deadpan to Lauren and it's like, and did you have a great time in the house in Malibu with your boyfriend? And I just feel like it was like she knew they already broke up and she just was like, I'm going to throw some salt in that wound.
Oh, right. When she says, and how did that work out for you?
Yeah.
Like that to me, like blew my mind when Lisa was just like point blank and like, how did that work out? You choosing your boyfriend over Paris? Oh, not good. Okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah. And then she sticks that knife in a little bit further and is like, I guess you'll just be remembered as the girl who didn't go to Paris. Like forever remembered.
What a horrible thing to be remembered as is like, oh, that's Lauren, our intern. She didn't go to Paris.
Yeah, right? Like everybody in the office talks about you as you walk by. Oh my God, it's the girl who didn't go to Paris.
That sounds like the name of a book or something. The girl who didn't go to Paris.
Yeah, like a murder mystery. The girl on the train and the girl who didn't go to Paris.
Died in a Malibu home.
I appreciated it though. Oh my God, Jason definitely has murder vibes, so I could see it.
Yeah, that chin strap for sure. And that spiky hair, all the Ed Hardy, I totally see murder vibes. But I agree, Morg. I was so here for a mean Lisa moment. I think we've been begging for Lisa to kind of give us that Miranda Devil Wears Prada action. And she finally came through. I mean, we got like the smallest taste of it last season, but like I'm hoping to see more bitter Lisa this season.
Yes, but she also, on the flip side, gives a pretty good opportunity to Lauren to be the representative of Teen Vogue at a swimwear fashion show, which I was like,
But partially more because Whitney had to go to school because did you hear when she found out?
it was like by default. Yeah.
Yeah. So when she finds out Whitney can't go, she's like, "Lauren, can I count on you? Like, I'm gonna have to count on you." She did not sound like she wanted to count on Lauren. She's like, "Come on time." Like you
You're
go.
right. I was like, that is bad when she's like, okay, can you be there on time? I was like, oh, that is awkward.
Right? So I kind of felt like she was a little bit reluctant to do it, but since Whitney wasn't available, she had to.
But she had to. Okay. I see that. And I just was annoyed though that she got, reprimanded and then immediately given an opportunity. But you're right. It was because Whitney was at school and she was just like, school's so important. Like she loves Whitney.
She loves
She's
Whitney.
like, oh my God, you got to go to school. I love school for you.
Right? But then when she's like, Lauren, when do you go to school? And Lauren's like, I don't know, soon. That was like, Lauren doesn't know when school starts or started. Could be.
Yeah, like Whitney's like, I've been going for a whole month. And then I was like, should Lauren have been going for a whole month? And like, I've never been to a college or institution that's like, oh, we start some students a month early and then some students a month later. Like that makes no sense. So I think Lauren's been missing her classes.
Lauren might have realized in that moment that she needed to figure out when school started.
But regardless, because she didn't know when school started, she got to work this fashion show. And I have to say, like, when I was an intern, sure, I didn't do that much, but I didn't do the weirdest stuff in the world that they're having her do at these fashion shows. Like, chaos. She comes in, phone's ringing off the hook, and they're like, can you answer a phone? Just say studio. And I was like, I'm going to need a little bit more information than this. Like, what happens after I say studio and they have questions I don't know the answer to?
Right. So, I mean, one, I loved the designer because I think she'd given me what Lisa never gave me until today. But the designer was just like, just like that, like very abrasive. And then immediately it was like, interns never know how to answer the phone. And it was like, well, I wouldn't either if all you tell me to say when I answer is one word.
Studio.
Studio. I have nothing for you but that. But more just really quickly, because you said that as an intern, you didn't have to do stuff like that, like kind of going on a little bit of a tangent, I guess. Like when I was an intern, I feel like this was the kind of stuff I did all the time. Like
maybe it was because you were in the film industry,
yeah.
though. So it's like,
yeah. So
maybe that was it. You were getting Tony coffee.
Yeah, I was getting my boss coffee that he, nicknamed his own name. I once had to go pick up an artist in like an hour away from set because he couldn't drive himself because he had gout, like really bad gout.
What?
Yeah, so I had to drive and meet him. And maybe I shouldn't say this more, but I was young at the time, like, yeah, the age of Lauren when she's doing this. And he immediately, when I show up and knock on his door, he's like, you want to smoke a doobie before we go? And I was like, no, thank you.
He's like, just a quick one. No worries.
So I waited for him and then we went. I had to do a lot of really weird stuff. And a lot of it was like under the gun, like, we need you to do this right now. Like I once had to do research on, it was a period piece. So they wanted me to figure out what street signs looked like in Utah in the 80s. And I remember being like,
oh my God, I love
it was the craziest like task. Like, and I ended up calling some companies in Utah and being like, hey, can you show me what some signs looked like in the 80s? And they're like, we don't have any records of that.
I guess I just feel like 80s isn't that long ago and they should have a few photos.
I know. And I really don't remember the details of it. And I do remember thinking the guy really did pull through and help me out. But I remember in the end, like showing it, like all of my hard work to my boss. And he just kind of was like, oh yeah, we don't really need that. It was like a weird, like
task they had you run.
Yeah, that's come and gone. Like we're over it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like, keep me busy.
So, okay. Joe's validating that this is how it is in like fashion film industry, like LA, Hollywood. They're just running around doing tasks and like they may or might not use it. I guess I just was watching it being like, this is such poor planning. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's like, why, what if Teen Vogue hadn't helped you out and sent their intern? Who was going to answer the phone? Like, all of this is very poor planning.
Yeah, well, and there was apparently, it seems like everything she did was like life or death and really important. Like they had this candle and it was a magical candle that was going to give them good luck for their show. And what would they have done without Lauren fishing the wick out of the candle?
Okay, that was the task that I was like, what is going on? If like, I guess I was just imagining like, what do you put on your resume for this task? You know, because what she did was fish a wick out of wax where it had burned over the wick. But what would I write to make that sound good on my resume?
Morgan, I feel like you're so good at stuff like this. How would you turn all of this junk that she did into a resume bullet point?
Well, I guess at like a higher level, I would be like, was the Teen Vogue representative at the, I forgot the artist's name, but that blah, blah, blah artist swimwear 2007 runway show. But
this specific article or whatever,
the wick activity, I would probably say something along the lines of resolved critical production issue during live show that was necessary for the I don't know, the delivery of the swimwear show.
I love that.
Like good luck candle.
I love that because in an interview they're like, can you tell us about that? And she's like, yes. So the situation was that the show could not go on until I was able to extract wick from a candle with a knife
and get it burning. It was a money candle. It was from a witch. The witch's store was not yet open. That was a critical point because she was like, can I just go buy another candle? And they're like, it's a witch store. It's not open. And I was like, what?
Well, yeah, that to me was also really bizarre. It just felt like another really weird task that was like, okay, like, and Lauren did it, even though the lady was like, can you do this? Like, the lady really had zero expectations of Lauren. She didn't think she could answer phones. She didn't think she could fish wick out of a candle.
Okay. She was really rude to her when she's like, can you sew these flowers onto this umbrella? And she's like, and don't make it look tacky.
Oh my gosh. Or my favorite was when she told her to hold the umbrella and it sounded like, because every time she'd be like, can you do this? Can you do this? And then she was about to say, can you? And Morgan, I could have sworn she was about to be like, can you walk? But she stopped herself. She was just like, can you? And she stopped.
She definitely was about to say that though. She was going to, can you walk? Like, so annoyed.
I loved it.
Lauren didn't get frustrated. Oh my gosh. And then when she was like, what time is it? And Lauren's like, I don't know. And she's like, you need to wear a watch.
And Lauren, so aloof, was like, I don't wear watches.
And she's like, how do you know what time it is? And she's like, I always have my phone with me. I was like, not a great answer.
I know. But I mean, how do you respond to that? Like, yes, ma'am. Next time I will wear a watch.
I don't know. The lady loved her in the end. So she made an impression.
Yeah, well, I mean, she, you know, we do love to hate on Lauren and Heidi when it comes to working, but I do think that Lauren was a trooper because I know that if someone was talking to me like that, I don't know if I would have responded that well. And Lauren did do every task that kind of came her way, even though it did seem like there were a few moments where I was like, okay, Lauren, like, yeah, wear a watch maybe or whatever. But I mean, she did everything that lady asked her to do.
I thought it was silly she wasn't wearing a watch because like fashion shows are so timed. It is kind of like a critical component of doing a fashion show. So to be like one of the people that is going to be helping the models get on the runway at the right times, it was a little silly to me that she doesn't have a watch on.
Yeah, that's true. It definitely seemed critical. But I mean, again, maybe Teen Vogue should have taught her that skill more. Like, I feel like it wasn't her first.
Maybe she would have learned it in Paris.
That's true. We'll have to check Whitney's wrists.
The girl who never went to Paris.
Oh, she doesn't know how to wear a watch because she never went to Paris.
Yeah, you're right. It probably should have come from Teen Vogue, like day one. Like, everybody wears a watch in this biz. Like, that's a one-sheeter. Okay, just hand that to them. Day one, always wear a watch.
Yeah, you think that would be part of the job description.
another factor that I don't know, it just cracked me up during this fashion show was like another employee of the designer was talking to her and she was like, okay, we got to be fast. We got to do this. And she's talking to Lauren and she's like, and stop playing with your hair. And I was just like, oh, Lauren, stop fiddling.
But again, I can't say I wouldn't have done something similar. Like,
no, that was something I totally related to.
I mean, like that lady hasn't ever done anything when she's been nervous or stressed.
Yeah, no, I feel like sometimes these ladies are just condescending because they're like the bigger boss in the room.
Yeah, more security guard syndrome or bouncer syndrome, whatever we love to call it.
Security guard syndrome. Yeah, no, I definitely fiddle with things all the time while I'm on calls and stuff. So no, I have no business pointing fingers about that one. But that was like a lot of great content, though. I liked the fashion show. It was fun to watch.
I agree. I had enjoyed that fashion show a lot more than the denim flight attendant one.
The denim one. Oh my gosh. But Whitney's denim addiction. So I'm glad we found out about that so we can help her.
Speaking of this Whitney's denim addiction, I don't know if you noticed. This was just a random thing I noticed. You know where her desk is in Teen Vogue?
Yeah.
There's like a little poster of someone wearing denim. And it just was like, oh my gosh, do you think Whitney hung that?
The signs are there. It's Joe, it's our merge waiting to happen with My Strange Addiction.
Yeah. Well, and more, someone, I think Audrina compliments her jeans. And I was like, oh, I bet Whitney just had a little heart attack.
For those of you
actually,
oh yeah,
I take that back. That might be in episode 3.
Oh my God, I told y'all she's cheating. She's going ahead. No, but for those of you who haven't heard, like in season 1, which you should go back and watch our earlier episodes from season 1, and you should rewatch with us. But Whitney confesses that she has a jean addiction, and Joe and I took it very far, and we think that eventually we're just going to see like little signs of her addiction throughout the entire series. So we're watching for them, and they're there.
They're there. They're there. All the little signs.
Joe, I feel like we have to give the people what they want, and that is the overview of Jason and Lauren's breakup.
Yes. So as Morg said, we've got Lauren ripping down the highway and with the convertible top down, no tangles when she arrives at Jason's house. No. Amazing. And
just a beautiful head of hair.
Jason greets her, and Jason, I was so confused by like his energy versus her energy. She seems so sad, and he's like, hey.
Yeah, well, it was almost to the point where I was annoyed that they didn't like address how they broke up, like who broke up with who, because she's like so down, and he's like, woohoo, you're here. I was like, what's happening? Like, are y'all really broken up, or does he not know yet? Like, is he not aware?
He was in denial.
I guess so, because he like tries to touch her, and she's like, no.
Right? So I feel like she probably, you're right though, they never really addressed like who broke up with who. I think it had to have been Lauren though, because I think she was like done. Like, I think that's what we were seeing there. She was like mourning their relationship, whereas Jason was like, you came by to see me. I'm gonna win you back right now.
And he didn't. So we were thankful, because I don't know. It was just like, he's like, my golf clubs, yay! Which season 1, she bought those golf clubs for him for his birthday, which is kind of sad in a breakup to be like, yay, my golf clubs you bought me when we were happy.
But also, why did she have the golf clubs that she bought him? Like, I thought that was weird.
Oh, you're right. But I feel like he's a jerk and just left.
Yeah, he's like, these are awesome clubs. I'm going to store them at your house.
Or like, clean up the Malibu house. I'm getting out of here.
That's probably exactly what it was he just left her to clean up the mess. Yeah. Also, Morg, I thought it was so cringy when Lauren said something about, she's like, oh, that's mine. And he's like, you're mine. Oh. I was like, Jason, read the room.
Yeah, that was awkward. I was just like, no, stop. Like, she's not into it. Yes. She doesn't want you right now.
So although Morg, they were breaking up, they clearly had some sort of telepathic connection, because they both opted to wear what appeared to be a Chili's uniform. They both opted for like the same black button down, and I loved it.
And black pants.
Yes, it was the fashion moment I've been looking for on the hills.
And what looked to be slip resistant shoes. Like they were about to work a shift at Chili's together, both of them.
Like, all right, this is a huge bummer, but I'll see you tonight, right?
See you on night shift. We're closing. Like, yes, it definitely looked like that. We'll have to screenshot that and put it on our Instagram because it is definitely a fashion moment that we all needed.
Yes, I loved it.
Surprised that Chili still like has that uniform today. Like, I feel like it's timeless. Chili's been wearing that for years.
It is timeless. Like I feel like a lot of professional restaurants, like Olive Garden. I mean, it's just a classic, Morg. Yeah, like anytime wedding caterers, they usually wear like a black button down. I mean, really, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I guess I worked at Outback Steakhouse and I guess they were trying to be like a little cooler and they had like kind of like PFGs, like, but it wasn't that nice. And it was like Australian Outback PFGs.
Okay, because I was picturing like board shorts and like sleeveless shirts, and then your waiter walks up and they're like, "All right, who's ready for a blooming onion, eh?
And a land shark, bud? Can I get that for you?
Can I get a what while we're at it?"
Yeah, it was pretty much like that, except for the board shorts weren't allowed. We had to wear pants.
Oh gosh, well, I mean, Outback, just like you said, cooler vibe.
Cooler vibe. They were trying to keep it real over there. Real down under. No, actually, Jason and Lauren are too rich to work at Chili's. She already has her really nice convertible.
Yeah, they don't
she's
need
zipping
that.
through LA with. So,
yeah, her Chanel bag in the passenger seat
from him. Oh my God, so many remnants of their relationship left in this car. My golf clubs, the Chanel bag.
I didn't
ghosts of relationships past.
Yeah, I didn't take a look to see if he was wearing his dog tags. I don't know that he was.
Oh my God, the diamond. Who do you think got the diamond encrusted dog tags?
What if each of them kept one of the two dog tags?
Well, that's romantic. That means there's hope.
You're right.
That's
You're
hope
right
for the future.
So maybe not, because, you know, again, the way it went down was Jason was hopeful. Lauren was like, it's over.
Yeah. And then he went ahead and asked, "Are you going to still be my buddy?" Which I was like, that's weird.
That's what I mean. Like, he was way too like peppy to be like, this is over. And then, but also the way she responded, I just wrote down a big old question mark, Morg, because she was like, "It's really hard to see you, but it's even harder not to see you." And she was just like, she's like, "We'll still see each other, but I don't want to see you." I don't know. It was like, so are y'all still going to be hanging around each other or not?
I feel like this was like a growing moment, right? Like, she knew in her heart of hearts she should not be with this guy. Like, the amount of fighting, you know, just like not good, but she like still wanted to be with him, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, like she couldn't just come out and flat out be like, "No, I'm never gonna see you again. I don't want to see you again." But she knew in her heart that it was over.
Yeah, it was bad, and we knew in our hearts from the moment we saw him, it was not good.
It was over.
It was over. We should have gone to Paris. She should have gone to Paris.
She should have gone to Paris. But anyways, moving on. Live and you learn. Heidi was a pretty good friend with all of this.
Yeah, Heidi, like, you know, she was impressing me. She gave her a pep talk. But after watching the rest of episodes 1 and 2, I kind of felt like she is biased with her pep talk because she wants to like get Lauren dating again because it's all about Heidi in the end. Like, at first I was like, oh, she's being nice. And she's like, all my friends want to date you. All my guy friends always ask if you're single. Like, you're gonna bounce right back. I thought it was all like nice and like, you know, propping up her friend when her friend's down. But then I see that she just is trying to get her to date Spencer's friend. So she wants like a double date buddy.
Oh, that didn't even click, but you're so right. It's probably so much easier to... Because then that way it's like she gets her hangout time with her boyfriend and with her hangout time with her best friend.
Yeah, and we know Heidi's a lazy girl. She wants to double up on that time.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it was kind of annoying to me after seeing that because at first I was like, oh, Heidi's having a moment here where she's kind of being selfless. No, she's just trying to be like, you're ready to date again. Anyways, I gave your number to my terrible boyfriend, Spencer's roommate, Brody.
Yeah. I mean, it was very, she was like almost aggressive, like with trying to get Lauren back out there. And Lauren even, I felt like
Yeah.
expressed a couple of times where she's like, Heidi, like, I just want to be single for a while. Like, I just want to be single. I feel like she said that a lot. And Heidi's like, you're ready. Like, jump in.
Well, okay, this made me think because I guess maybe like I'm bad at. I was like, I've never set a friend up with anyone ever. Like I've never, yeah, I've never been like, you really need. Like I guess
Yeah, me
I've
neither.
suggested like, oh, I have a friend I'd love for you to meet, but I've never like forced it ever and been like, no, I gave him your number. I'm gonna make this happen. Like I don't know. That's just not in my nature, I guess.
Same. It's like if someone expresses like they're not really that interested, then I'm not gonna keep pushing it. It's just like, okay, like they didn't sound like they really want to date, like even go on a date with this person. Like, that's fine. Moving on. I'm not going to be like, I already gave him your number and I called him and told him to call you. So expect a phone call from him today.
Yeah, it would be a lot more fun for me and my boyfriend to hang out with you and this guy and make him your boyfriend. So therefore, I'm going to force this.
Wow. So I thought Heidi was being a good friend, but now I see it was all for Heidi.
I think it was. And I don't know. It sucks for Brody, I guess, just because I was annoyed by him at the fact that it was like he calls her during her fashion show. And I'm like, she's at work. Leave her alone.
I had the same thought where it was like, oh, how does he not know this? But then it was also like, okay, of course. Like, how many times have I called someone and they've been like, hey, I'm not able to talk right now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I had no idea. But at the same time, like, Lauren did not have to answer. Like, I also feel like sometimes when people answer my phone calls just to tell me they can't talk, it's like, I could have,
why'd you answer?
Right, like I could have got your voicemail and just like left you a message letting you know that I called, and then you would see my voicemail and call me back when you had a minute, versus like in a chaotic moment telling me you can't talk, because then I feel like it's back on me to call you again.
She's like in the middle of this fashion show with the swimwear line and answers, and he's like, hey, how's it going? And she's just like, I'm with a model right now. Like I just like thought it was like rude in general, because I was like, why answer to be rude about him calling? Like, I don't get it.
Maybe that's why she answered. She wanted him to know that she was doing something like that. Like, I'm with a model right now. Can I call you later?
Oh my God, they do love models. Remember Brian explained that to us.
Like, I'm a model, and I wouldn't even be like, I'm a model.
Like, I was a model for a little bit, and I would never say that I was a model for a little bit.
I don't miss him at all.
I know. Goodbye. But okay, Brody, Joe, did this blow your mind that it was Brody Jenner on this show?
Yes, it blew my mind. I found out relatively recently ago, I guess, if that makes sense, that he's
like within 2021.
Yeah, that he is Caitlyn Jenner's son, and therefore like a half brother to the Jenner girls. Like, he has this whole Kardashian relation, and like I had no idea. Like I'd heard his name from The Hills like back in the day, but like I never ever like put two and two together until my mom told me, and it was like really trippy then seeing him in this show.
Like we've said, we've never watched this, and we were not, relevant during the 2000s. So I had no idea that, Brody Jenner was on this until this season, until I was looking at the future seasons. So I knew it before we started watching the show, but I had no idea. Like, this show has a lot of like close people to fame.
Yeah. Well, and also, they all love reality TV shows.
That's true.
Jenner Kardashian clan.
Yeah, he was ready for it, and he wasn't stopping. Like, try to throw him off by being at the fashion show while he calls. He's just going to call again, which he did.
And he did. Brody, in my opinion, didn't bring all that much to the table in these first two episodes, Morg. I found that he seemed really hard to have a conversation with, because so he takes Lauren out on a date, and I just felt like the only things that came out of his mouth were like compliments. You look gorgeous.
You're beautiful. Your eyes are beautiful. You're like, if I was thinking about being on a date with somebody that was doing that, it'd be like kind of weird. Like, can we stop?
I agree. It's like, so can we talk about something else? And he's like, you have the most beautiful smile. Be like, why is this like he's killing every conversation before it starts?
And it's really hard. I feel like for a lot of people to respond to compliments, like one is like nice, flattering, but like you kind of can just be like, oh, thank you, But it's like kind of a lot to be like, and not only is your eyes beautiful, your smile's beautiful. I'm not done. I'm not done telling you what parts of your body are beautiful.
Yeah. And it kind of, like you said, one is fine, but then after that, it kind of gives off like obsessive murdery kind of vibes.
Yeah, you can go down a different road real quick with those compliments.
Yeah, I like to think
your toes are beautiful.
Oh yes, I would like those toes.
Oh yeah, no.
But I like to think maybe he was just nervous since it was like their first date. But I mean, I found it hard to, I wasn't on the date, but if I were, I think it would have been hard to connect with him because he didn't, I don't know, he just didn't have anything to say.
Which I think is why, like, maybe Lauren had to respond awkwardly with like a deflection, of like, oh no, my smile's not that great. It's straight.
I found that annoying, but I also felt like, how many times in my life have I like chosen some weird thing that I think is flawed and given like some stupid reason where she's like, yeah, people tell me I have a crazy smile because it's straight. And then I'm like staring at her smile, and then I'm staring at everyone else's smile. I'm like, everyone's smile seems to be straight. Like, we're not smiley faces over here with upturned like lips. That's creepy.
Yeah, I thought that was a weird response, but I guess I just saw it as like a deflection of like, okay, stop complimenting me. Like, here's something wrong with it. Goodbye. And then he like doubled down and was like, no, like that makes it even cuter. And I was like, okay, Brody, calm down. He's like a big nose. It's like a character trait.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. And she's like, okay, that's what people say when it's like not really cute, but you're just like, it gives you character. It was weird.
You're so right. I totally forgot. That totally like went down where it was like, yeah, it's like all those things. And it's like, it's cuter. And she's like, no, it's like, that's
what people say when it's not cuter, but okay.
Yeah.
It was like almost like a weird fight. I felt like where she was just like, no, that's what people say when it's like not cute. And he's like, no, but it is cute. So I'm going to make you say it too.
Well, Morgan, and also on this date, I would just like to, I feel like we love commenting on the 2007 fashion. And I feel like Lauren really nailed the 2007 look. She opted for a tunic with some leggings and some high-heeled peep toe shoes.
God, it's so ugly. But I wore it.
Right? I remember you had like, were they nude peep toe shoes? I remember loving them.
I'm sure. I was like clomping around in them. Like I'm positive.
Yeah, I definitely remember loving a good oversized tunic as well.
Yeah, and like you said last week, the leggings, oh my God, had to be under everything. You had to think about what went with leggings. They had to be a part of your outfit.
So good.
I was like going through Target leggings like they were like gonna go out of business. Like I gotta get 5 of these black ones because I'm gonna wear them every day this week, and they tear really easy.
That thin cotton
that wasn't protecting us.
Right. And they weren't even like the ones that I had from Target. They weren't even like sewn at the bottom. It was like the fabric was just cut. And so it like rolled up,
Yeah.
It's like the cheapest leggings possible.
But that's why you had to get the long tunic, because the thin cotton was not protecting you. So fashion followed functionality. I said earlier, we all wanted to talk about the breakup. We all want to talk about Spencer Joe. That's what we want to talk about. And that's what we're going to talk about the last 10 minutes of our episode, because holy cow, I didn't know what fire he was going to bring, but he brought it all.
Morg, I'm excited. Like, Spencer is a game changer. And right out of the gates, like for the first 2 minutes of the show, I was like, okay, I don't see any issue with Spencer. Like, so far I kind of like Spencer. I mean,
baggy pants.
Those baggy pants, he was really, I forgot those were a men's look. He was rocking them. Also, his little California accent where he's like, hey, Heidi, you want to go eat the best Mexican food of your life?
Yeah. So good. Heidi, they named a steak after me. They couldn't help it.
Are you surprised? Like, I told you I love this place. I'm sorry. Now I'm turning into like Mare of Easttown, I think. I'm having a hard time
That's so good.
distinguishing.
Oh, I loved it.
But apart from Lauren mentioning at the very top of the episode that he was dating Audrina, like I was like, wow, Spencer's a nice guy. Like we see him out with Heidi, and I thought he was really sweet with Heidi. I felt like he had way more to talk about with Heidi than Jordan ever did. But then,
yeah, I agree with that.
Like 30 seconds later, Morg, he was like out to lunch with Audrina, and then I was like, oh boy, this is the Spencer.
And he's just lying. Like I was like, this guy doesn't give a crap that he's on TV. Doesn't like he's just like, I don't care. Let's just tell both girls that the other girl's crazy. Sprinkle this in here. They're nuts.
And they like buy into it.
Yeah, and I almost think because they're making a show, they like think he wouldn't lie. Like they're like, oh, it'll all come out. Like I'll see it if he is lying. So it's almost like they push their trust in it.
Yeah, which is like why it's crazy to think that now him and Heidi are married.
I know that she watched all this and he's like, whatever.
Yeah. So, Morg, to start at that initial Mexican dinner where he's there with Heidi, is that where they first start talking about Audrina?
Yeah. So, well, we see Audrina like call Heidi from work and it's like, hi, Heidi, if you could call me back. I don't understand what's going on. Oh. That's like the first, like, I guess hint we get besides Lauren's like talk at the beginning where she likes like Spencer's dating Audrina and Heidi.
Why am I not surprised that Audrina doesn't understand why Heidi's mad?
Right? Yeah. No surprise there. Like, why on earth would she be mad that I'm dating the same guy she's dating? Like, what could possibly be she'd be upset about?
Mind-boggling.
But I mean, that's Audrina. Like, and
that's our girl.
Audrina just also seems to like take what men say with a lot of stock because, like, you know, like Spencer is even like talking to her and is like, we're just friends, right? Like, we're just friends. And she's like, yeah, like that's crazy that she thinks we're not just friends. And I was like, yeah, Audrina, do you think y'all are just friends? Because have y'all hooked up? Yes, you have. So yeah, why do you think that you're just friends? Like, it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I thought it was really confusing because I think, you know, we kind of mentioned this when we were talking before the show that we were like kind of wondering like maybe they haven't hooked up, but it's like, no, they for sure have hooked up. But yeah, Audrina's just like, yeah, when he's like, yeah, we're just friends. It's like, y'all are nuts. Like, this is like, Spencer's just feeding you this information. You're just like, yes. That's it.
That's the truth that I will double down on.
I couldn't believe it. But so when Heidi, then after Audrina leaves that voicemail and we see Heidi and she just kind of like rolls her eyes and Audrina's like, I think she's mad at me and I don't know why. Then her and Spencer go out to dinner and Spencer just like point blank, like you'd think someone who's in the middle of this love triangle would be avoiding the topic. Spencer just like, no. Yeah, just like goes for it and he's like, so you and Audrina, like y'all aren't cool? Like that's weird. Why aren't y'all cool?
Yes, I'm telling you, he is like a master manipulator. He's just like, oh, this would like totally throw her off my scent. Like, well, let me just address this. Like, you know, like Audrina is like crazy, right? Like,
of course. And Heidi's just like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, you know, people in LA are a little. And I was like, well, first, thank you for confirming that because Morgan and I have been discussing that for now a season.
We did think that.
But also, like, Spencer, you dog.
Like, I would hope that if somebody was like, I'm dating somebody and they're like, yeah, this girl just follows me around like a weird puppy dog. It's so odd. I wouldn't be like, that is so annoying of her. I hate her. That makes zero sense. You must not be feeding her a ton of lies to keep her around, huh?
Yeah, but Heidi has not really been known for her critical thinking skills, maybe, or like her.
Okay, that's true.
You know, I mean, she's just like Audrina, which makes them like the perfect like little triangle, is also just like taking what he says at like face value and being like, yeah.
I miss their conference room. Though I miss Audrina and Heidi's like big business conference rooms at the hot tub.
So does that mean it's over? Who's going to go to the pool with Heidi?
I don't know. And she loves the pool in denim.
I am sad.
I mean, I think they might make a comeback. What do you think? I feel like they might get through this because Audrina did shut him down at the end of this episode. Like, she's like, bye, Spencer. Like, so I feel like she did get smart a little bit and was like, okay, Spencer, like, I still don't know what's going on, but I just like have to remove myself from this situation. Like, I don't think she got really smart. I guess she's just like, I don't get it, but I have to like stop.
I'm super confused right now. And for that reason, I'm going to exit.
That's kind of how it was. And he's like, she hung up on me.
Oh, yeah. Like, and that was confusing too, is like, he has to be super aware of what he's doing, but he's always acting, yeah, again, like she's crazy or like he's not doing anything wrong here.
He's like a gaslighter before we had that word. Like, he's the epitome of it.
You're so right. And he's like shameless and everything with a smile, Morg. Like, I could not believe.
The smile scares me.
He's like arguing with Heidi. He's like telling Heidi Audrina's crazy. He's out to lunch the very next day after Heidi and him go on a date with Audrina and then invites her out on a date, all the while smiling. It was too much.
The smile scares me because he'll be in like a legit argument and then be like smiling while he's answering questions. And I'm like, that's what a crazy person does. Heidi, in episode 2, I was like, oh my gosh, Heidi, we are too young for this. You have but you're also too old for this. She has a pregnancy scare.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God, Heidi's been dealing with things. Mm-hmm. And then she tells Lauren, and Lauren's like, oh my God, is it okay? She already knows she's not pregnant. She took the test. Okay, all good there. Then she tries to trick Spencer into thinking she is so that she can see his reaction, which is not good. Like, this is a really good example of your relationship not being healthy. Like, that is what I thought during that scene.
Same. To me, it felt like between him dating Audrina and then her pulling that, it was like, this is the foundation of y'all's relationship. And it's creepy that this is how y'all treat each other. And then y'all got married.
Okay, yes. It is really creepy that they watched all this and then got married, which maybe brings me back to what you said in our very first episode for season 1. You were like, he plays like a character. So maybe she just like bought into it was all a character. But on some level, this is your life. It's being filmed. Like, this is who you are. You can't just be like, this is pretend the whole time.
But I feel like, as we've seen with the way he treats these girls, he's kind of manipulative. So I guess, maybe he's like manipulates Heidi into being like, it was all for the show. It's all for that. Like, it was all for ratings, reviews, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like you said, to piggyback off of that, like, I'm sure this was just like he fed that to Heidi and that's the way she kind of justifies his actions maybe. But I mean, again, like the whole pregnancy thing, when she's like telling him it, one, the creepy smile, he's just sitting at her and smiling at her, and he's like, whatever, this is on you, whatever you want to do, like, I'll be happy with. Creepy smile. And then she's like, so actually I found out yesterday I'm not pregnant, and lo and behold, he is pissed, as I would be too.
Yeah, I would be as well.
But I just feel like it kind of surprised me in that moment that he wasn't like, this is over too. Like, I mean, to me, that's like some crazy stuff.
Yes, I would be like, you just tried to trick me into thinking you were pregnant so you could see how I could react. Like, nobody's going to be their best self in that moment. I'm sorry.
No.
Like, everyone, I mean, gets a free few minutes to freak the hell out. Like, I think that's fine. Y'all weren't planning for this, and it's a very scary thing. So her test was really annoying to me because it was just like really manipulative on her part. But then his like creepy smile and manipulation with Audrina, I was just like, maybe they're made for each other.
You're right. Maybe they are made for each other. So I am excited to see, what becomes of them, because everything that I've read about this show is like they are the couple that you love to hate. So, I mean, I think that's what they're going to grow into.
I think they are going to grow into that. I know they gave us at the end of season 2, episode 1, they gave us like a flash forward of the rest of the season. So it definitely seems like they hold up to that.
I didn't watch that, Morg. I always, since it's on Hulu and there's commercials with Hulu, I usually try to like jump as quickly as I can so I don't get another ad, because as you know, on Hulu, at the end of the show, you get an ad, and at the beginning of the next show, you get an ad. So I found if you click next episode before the ad, you get half the ads.
Whoa, she's figured it out, folks.
There's my Hulu tip.
Wow. Okay. Well, if you're watching this on Hulu, they are not sponsoring us, so you should.
Not after that. Now they're going to be like, we're going to make it so you can't do that.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks for the tip. That's a bug. I don't know, Joe. After seeing that flash forward, after seeing, Spencer's creepy smile, I am ready for this season. I'm super excited for it. And I'm glad y'all are rewatching with us, because it's going to be a great second season. I can feel it already.
Same. Super excited to see what happens with Lauren's internship. Spencer, for sure. Like, what a budding rose. I love it. So we will be back next week on Friday with reviews on episodes 3 and 4. So you guys can watch along with us and listen with us. We are the Double Loser Podcast. Be sure to follow us on our socials at Double Loser Podcast, and have a great week. We'll see you on Friday.